Shenhe Wifey is having a rerun, and I absolutely can't wait to pull on her banner after being cock-blocked by Diluc over a year ago. Shenhe, go gold, go gold. Yes, going gold! Go on, Shenhe! No! However, Shenhe has a problem, which is why I think she isn't a good pull for most of your Genshin accounts, in all honesty. I know some of you are thinking, how is my man not taking his own advice? But that's as it's situational. Nobody's accounts are the same, and I may or may not be a whale. The reason I recommend most people avoid Shenhe, at least for now, is that she is a luxury unit. She is like having regular Spotify and then buying premium. Not really needed, but it's still nice. You get me? So there are other units of her type. However, unlike Goru, Farazan or Kujo-Sara, she is the only one that is a 5-star. Furthermore, in Goru and Farazan's case, they cover elements which can't be sold by Anemo, which is where, to me, is where I would draw the line. This is between taking home a Shenhe or leaving her out in the cold next to McDonald's. Units like Kazuha exist who already can buff your cryo carries to levels which are going to give you enough damage to easily clear the hardest level of content. Adding Shenhe on top of that is like smashing somebody's iPhone with a hammer, then proceeding to throw it in a river afterwards. So, if you are looking to buff that cryo unit, first I would point you towards pulling a Kazuha, as he is more universal and does that job really well. Just like how you guys like and subscribe to the channel really well as well, right? Now there are some of you going, I already have Kazuha Nyx, and what then? Well, then the Hilly Trolls are going to look at you with disgust on their face, telling their homeboys that you're an absolute knobhead who brought guns to a knife fight. But if you're like me, sometimes you get pleasure out of being that person and want that extra damage that Shenhe gives you regardless, or you simply get aroused by seeing the big number on your screen. Honestly, I can't even blame you. But first, before you do pull, you need to consider my next point, and that is, who does Shenhe actually buff? Of course your answer to that is, well, it's obvious Shenhe buffs all cryos, but in my eyes, I say, nah, not really. Yeah, you can go use Shenhe to buff a 4-star cryo, or a Loi, or Chi-Chi, which are just broke 4 stars and designer 5-star t-shirts. This leaves us with you primarily buffing Garnu and Ayaka, and with everyone else you're doing it for the funny, as naturally, as Genshin players, 90% of us will default to the most damaging option eventually, so you can clear faster or clear at all in some people's cases. I would honestly like to see how many Dia mains there are left in a few months' time, is all I'm gonna say. The thing about using Shenhe to buff Ayaka and Garnu is, Garnu, I would just recommend you run her melt so you can double the damage of your cryo hits, and most likely you are going to be running a shielder in the Shenhe slot for comfort, or you can be a psycho and run Shenhe or Kazuha instead of the main 2 ways she is usually played, and restart your abyss floor 9 times, as Garnu is very fragile and interrupted easily. Plus, here you wouldn't want to use Shenhe's burst as it could mess up your melts. On top of that, in that 4 slot, I still believe Kazuha is better because you could swell Pyro for Zhangling and then Cryo for your Garnu. This leaves you with your Shenhe being attached to your Ayaka freeze team, because if you run Ayaka's melt, you're a freak. So stop trying to be special, you are going to be playing Ayaka free. This team at its best will consist of Ayaka, Shenhe, Kazuha and Kokomi, though as I said before, if you don't have Kazuha, I believe he is way better for this team over Shenhe, as he can group enemies, shred their resistance with his VV set, and give you cryo damage bonus. Plus, Shenhe can be substituted for Garnu, Rosaria or Diona easily in this team, because that is literally how people used to play Ayaka freeze before Shenhe came along, and that itself was clearing perfect. Now of course, as Genshin progresses, more cryo DPS will come along, increasing Shenhe's pull value overall, but since her release over a year ago, all we got is 1 4-star cryo, which is a Shielder, Layla, and then I guess Mika, who's coming out too, but he's a physical buffer anyway. So after all this time, Shenhe is still very limited to Ayaka, Of course this is gonna change eventually, but if you don't have a Kazuha, pick him up first. And if you do really love Ayaka, really love Shenhe wifey, or want to do some meme builds, then go for it. However, if you are getting her hoping for future cryo units to be paired with your Shenhe, I would wait until those come out first and see if you like their playstyle before picking up a Shenhe. With that being said, that is going to be the end of the video. Check out my other videos next and see you for future uploads. In a bit.